Thank you. So a few weeks ago, Michelle and I were at the Chinese Theater in Los Angeles for the premiere of our film, The Fabelmans. I was incredibly anxious, feeling overwhelmed, couldn't see straight, and Michelle grabbed my arm and she said, "Paulie, look where we are." And I looked around and I saw Steven Spielberg, I saw Tony Kushner, I saw John Williams, and then I saw my friend Michelle, who I've known for quite some time now, and I thought, all right, we're doing okay. So we were in LA and we talked for just a moment about being young actors there. Michelle said, "I remember just driving around town looking for work, and I thought, imagine if that teenage girl knew that at the midpoint of her career, she'd be receiving a tribute award of the Gothams from none other than Steven Spielberg, and what would she have thought? And that whatever she searched for, persisted through, fought through, grew through, would lead her to already have a career that we'd talk about as if in full." And then I thought, well, what if we had to tell that girl that Steven got COVID? She'd be like, "What's COVID?" And that Paul Dano was gonna introduce you. She'd be like, "Who the fuck is Paul Dano?" I'd say, "Don't worry, we become friends." But now I'm lucky enough to get to take a moment to ask Michelle to stop squirming in her seat, which I know that she is, and just appreciate where she is, what she's done, and let us appreciate what she's given us with her work. Yeah. So I think that there is a sense of bravery and searching that runs through Michelle's career. She had success at a young age on Dawson's Creek, but instead of being a passenger of young success, she chose to grab the wheel of her own ship and see if she could orient herself to her own North Star. And that is not an easy choice to make, especially as a young woman in Hollywood. I imagine the waters can be rough and you don't always know where you're going. But she came to New York, she did plays, she did independent films like The Station Agent, she did Brokeback Mountain, a film that I treasure. And you'll see a moment in this clip tonight when she sees that her husband is kissing another man, the look on her face, it's ineffably wondrous. She started to become a rare thing, which is a character actor and a movie star. I think that's like the ultimate compliment in my book, if you can be both of those things. She did many films that I consider special, like Wendy and Lucy, Synecdoche, Blue Valentine. It's beautiful work with beautiful artists. She took on Marilyn Monroe. She went back to the stage. She gave us this phenomenal scene in Manchester by the Sea. It's one of those jaw-dropping scenes where you just can't see the work. You don't know how it came out of that person. She somehow topped that with Gwen Verdon, and now she's given us Mitzi Fabelman in The Fabelmans, and that's just a little bit of her career. I'm also happy to be here to introduce Michelle, because not only have I always admired her work, but because I've admired her as a parent. And I don't want to impinge on her privacy, but even years ago when we did Meek's Cutoff together, long before I became a parent, I could see what a good mother she was. And I admire her even more now that I am a parent. Michelle has made bold and brave choices, not just in the work she has chosen to do, but in the work she has chosen not to do. It's not easy to say no and to take time off for your family, to take time away from this business. I imagine that feeling is exponentially greater as a woman, but it seems to me that you're having the courage to be who you are on the playing field and off, and that's something that I look up to and hope I'm brave enough to do as well. And yeah, that's right. And the last thing I'll say is Michelle is now at the point where she can be a North Star for other artists as well. I remember having a check-in with my therapist while shooting The Fabelmans. I said, "I think it's going okay." He tried to get more out of me. I said, "Well, Tony Kushner said the other day that my scene was gorgeous." And he said, "Okay, well, that's good." And I said, "Yeah, okay, it's good." And I said, "But he said that Michelle was astonishing." And I thought, I hope someday I will be astonishing like Michelle Williams. So let's take a look at some of her astonishing work. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Williams.
What is happening? I shouldn't even be out of the house. I just had a baby. Paul, I don't know. I quit. I can't get any better than that. Like I'm done. If I did that, I think I'm done. Thank you. I'm so moved by this. Thank you. This all means so much to me. It means so much to me to be here in New York, in my hometown, because before I ever wanted to be an actor, I wanted to be a New Yorker. Which isn't technically a profession, but it kind of is. Whenever something good happens for me in my life, I can draw a straight line back to somebody who was meant to be here tonight, but being a New Yorker means living in a reality that you are definitely not in control of. So she's not in the room, but she's in my heart. Mary Beth Peel played my Grams on Dawson's Creek. I was an emancipated minor when we met. I was 16 years old and I was totally alone. Mary Beth Peel was the first artist that I had ever met in my life. She didn't call herself that, but there was something different about her. It was the way that she asked questions, the way that she leaned into conversations, and how excited she seemed for every moment of every day on our TV set. And I didn't know what this ineffable quality was, but I knew I wanted to pull my chair closer to hers. We started talking constantly. I learned that she was an opera singer. She was a Tony nominee. She was a mother. She crossed over from TV to film to theater like she was changing trains at rush hour. She could do anything. She lived an artist's life. She was brimming and bursting with energy, and she showed me that creativity was more than a mere profession. And all of this vitality was miraculously turned in my direction. Her smiling face was looking at me, and she called me her girl. She told me stories about this place, New York fucking City. And she said it was somewhere that I could go and I could build a life. She said that I should try doing theater. I started reading plays and talking to her about them, and she urged me on. Yes, yes, that's wonderful, my girl. You should do that. You should try that. I wasn't an artist or a mother. I wasn't even a high school graduate. Honestly, I was barely even a Michelle. I had just gotten people to stop calling me Shelley. But now I was Mary Beth's girl, and that made me a somebody. So I'm grateful for this honor because it allows me to look backwards in time and realize that I couldn't have played Wendy Carroll or Randy Chandler or Marilyn or Gwen or Mitzi Fableman without having first played Jen Lindley. I wouldn't have known how to handle being Steven Spielberg's mother without having been Mary Beth's granddaughter. So thank you, Mary Beth, and thank you, Gotham Awards, for this.